Okay, good evening, everyone. Bonsoir, guten Abend. So all of you who are facing us in this room of a WLB 103, all of you in Europe, some of you actually joining from France, I believe some from Taiwan or even in Germany. So welcome to all of you. My name is Emily Tran, and I have the pleasure and honor to chair tonight's session. So in preparation of our Department of Government and International Studies 25th anniversary, we have organized a number of events. So these events actually, this is the third stage. We had already 2 events related to the GIS, Government and International Studies program, and this is the third event in April, and the big event will take place on May 8th, so next month. So tonight we are together for over 90 minutes, and it was not easy to start on time because so many alumni come in, and it was so nice to see so many of you, including with Dr. Beatrice Cabot online. So everyone wanted to say hello to everyone else. And we will have time at the end of this session to just informally mingle and say hello to each other. So this session is going to be divided into 2 parts. The first part, I will invite my dear colleagues and friends of the European Studies program to say a few words with our head of department, Professor Alistair Cole. And in the second part of tonight's session, we will invite some alumni to share their experience online and also in person. So without further ado, let's welcome Professor Alistair Cole.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Emily, for that that gracious introduction. So thank you very much, and thanks to all the colleagues, indeed, and students and alumni for turning up. I'm speaking with the mask on, which of course is exactly what we should be doing, although it makes it a bit more difficult perhaps to articulate everything. But welcome. I mean, tonight really is the night of celebration for our European Studies programs, and I don't need to insist on the importance of these programs, really. I'm fully convinced of the importance of language-based area studies, both inherently and as a career pathway. So I think it's a great choice that you made today or in the past, and we hope very much that you were pleased to have made that choice and that it's been useful for you. I think it's an extremely important activity. I have a quote here from the Chief Executive, Pak Lam, but I won't read it out, except to say that she recognizes, of course, the importance of placing Hong Kong in an international perspective. And I think, in a sense, you know, we have a long tradition in this department of producing generations, really, well, a generation at least, of very articulate young people, and some who are now a bit less young, perhaps, who are able and capable to take up employment here in Hong Kong, or indeed much further afield in France, in Germany, and so on. So, having said that, I won't say much more because it's really your day. I would certainly very much like to meet any of you. I think it's extraordinarily important to get that language proficiency. I think it's very important that we continue to emphasize that, very much so. Personally speaking, I suppose really the idea of language-based area studies has been a very important part of my career. You know, I mean, the idea that if you're a social scientist, you can't, you know, and if you're a specialist on a country, my particular country is probably more France than anywhere else, but, you know, to really understand that country, you've got to understand you've got to put yourself in situation, you've got to understand the language, you've got to understand the culture, and to some extent, without being captured in a way, because of course we're all independent, or we'd like to think so, clearly to understand profoundly a particular place, I think we have to get those linguistic skills, and I think it's extremely important that we carry on doing this. I don't want to say any more, but thanks very much for hearing me out, and I'll hand back to the person.
Thank you, Alistair. For those of you who do not know Professor Cole, I'm sure those in the French stream have read Professor Cole's book on French politics and society. And Professor Cole, when he says that language-based European studies program has been a determining factor in his career, indeed, Alistair is perfectly francophone. So you could have spoken in French and then translated into English yourself. So before I continue on this, it is a mixed mode format. As you can see, perhaps people are arriving in person and also on Zoom. I'd like to acknowledge the work of our colleague, Mr. Ivan Chung, who has been also in the department and in charge of SALU. So every one of you must know Ivan here. Thank you very much, Ivan, for your technical support. Tonight's event has been prepared by Mr. Terence Young, who is going to join us lately with his camera. So we all know Terence holding a camera, and it has been organized also with the support of Mr. Sebastian Paz, who is here, and also Madame Céline Diaz, who is sitting at the end, and also every one of you knows Céline. So in 25 years, actually 26 years of the existence of this program, European Studies has grown tremendously in terms of content of the program, in terms of outreach and exchange to Europe, in terms of job opportunities. But it is a program that has also seen a couple of departures. First, the departure of Professor Werner Hess, who went for retirement in 2019. And Professor Hess was very instrumental in the foundation, the creation of this program. And he was indeed very much the driving force behind European Studies at HKBU. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give my thanks to Professor Werner Hess. We also had the departure of Dr. Tsz Chun Martin, the long-term German stream coordinator, and I believe that the German stream students might be disappointed not to see him present with us tonight. So Tusha has left HKBU last year in order to start a new career in Germany, in the city of Hanover. And today it is his information day in Hanover, so he could not join us tonight. Now, let me pass the floor to our colleagues in the German stream. So we have departures in the German stream, but we also have arrivals, and we have actually 3 new colleagues from the German stream who are going to say a few words about themselves and their career, starting with Mr. Fabian Retzer.
Oh, my career. No, I don't want to talk too much about myself. I have been here at BU for 2 years. That is why I don't know many of the graduates, but nonetheless, it's a pleasure to be here tonight with everybody, with so many of our accomplished and bright graduates. And I think I speak for everybody else here that we are proud of you. We are proud to see you go. We are even prouder, I think, to see you develop notable careers and take on further steps in academia. As far as our current students are concerned and future generations of our students, I think your stories and your journeys, I think, are an inspiration for the current students as well as our future students. Yeah, and I wish all of us a nice evening. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to hear the sharings of our graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Okay, yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sebastian. So I also basically arrived at the same time as Fabian did here. Yeah, I'm basically teaching a little bit of everything here. So European studies, history, politics, language. It's very nice to be here, very pleasure to be here, and I'm very glad and happy to see so many of you coming here following our invitation, maybe getting in touch with each other and maybe inspire our current students, and also see some of our current students around here. So thanks again for all of you being here, especially for our students and our newly coming graduates now. Yeah, thanks so much, and I hope you all will have a very nice evening here tonight with all of us. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Katrin Bode, and I'm here only not even 2 years. You know, I arrived in January last year. So I really do not know a lot of alumni, but I'm very happy that I know the future alumni, because I know the students who are studying with me now, which I really enjoy, you know, working with the students. And I'm enjoying being here, having nice colleagues. And I think this program is a very good program, and a program which will give a good impulse for Europe and for Hong Kong and for the world. And so I'm very happy that I'm here, and hope we'll see the students now being alumni one day and having a good life. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Catherine. So Catherine Baudet is also the head of our DAD. Fabian Retzer here is a language teacher for German stream, and Sebastian is having a lot of hats, teaching the famous course that all of you had throughout the European Studies journey, that is Unity and Diversity of Europe in year 1. So this is basically the German stream side, and then we can move to the French stream side, and we can start to the end of the table, my dear colleagues. Celine, everyone knows Celine, so she doesn't need any further introduction.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm very, very happy to see all of you. And I've been here for 10 years now. I would have said that 10 years ago. And just thanks. Because of you, I feel even younger, years after years, and I don't age because I'm having you in front of me, and just like you make me laugh, and I'm having a very, very good time in my class with you. And I hope it's kind of the same for you on the other side. So just I'm really hoping to hear everybody there on Zoom. I can see Brian, I can see Kelvin, I can see Martin, Lavinia, Frank, Kevin. So happy to see you, and voilà. Donc, merci.
Merci, Céline. Now, Roger. So, Roger Agas, Mr. Agas, everyone in the French stream knows actually Mr. Agas. Yes, it does.
Okay, I think someone needs to speak French. Donc, je vais parler français. Évidemment, parce que mes étudiants ne pouvaient pas parler anglais pendant ma classe. Donc, je vais parler français simplement pour dire que j'ai passé beaucoup de plaisir à enseigner pendant ces 20 années, oui, 20 années. Et j'espère que je pourrai revoir beaucoup d'étudiants dans un autre contexte, sans masque, avec du vin, de la bonne gastronomie. Donc, je vous invite à prendre contact avec nous pour organiser des repas quand vous le voulez. Bonjour à tous ceux qui sont derrière, et j'espère qu'on se verra dans des conditions plus faciles. Merci.
Merci, Roger. So last but not least, we have with us online through Zoom, Dr. Béatrice Cabot, who has been for many years the coordinator of the French stream, and I had the honor actually to succeed to Dr. Béatrice Cabot back in August 2016. And I must confess to you, Béatrice, you left your files in a very, very good order. You know, I stepped into the job and everything was perfectly ordered, well arranged, so I could just start work immediately. So thank you very much, Beatrice, for this. And now let's hear from you.
Well, hello, everybody. It's a fantastic honor and a splendid opportunity to see some students, some alumni, and all my colleagues. I mean, even if my former colleagues have left, you referred to Professor Hess, to Shah, and it was a fantastic opportunity for me to be there. So I think this event is a fantastic also opportunity for alumni to share views and experiences, and this is a very good point. As for me, as you said, Emily, I left in 2016, in June 2016, but I arrived in February 1997, a few months before the handover. So it was quite a challenge to arrive in the middle of an academic year, so much to do. The program at that stage was quite recent, since the ESP was launched in 1994. So together with all the colleagues, and of course, especially with Professor Hess, it was also a big challenge. I was very much attracted by the profile of the program, because it was a challenge for me to combine language classes with social and political subjects in the context of Hong Kong. We all know, even if, and I might have the opportunity to come back to this point later, even if there is a great change in the Hong Kong context and atmosphere. When I arrived in 1997, for example, at the time I was not the coordinator of the French stream, it was Mrs. Saint-Denis, maybe it rings a bell among the some of the alumni, but I do remember my very first classes in French politics and talking about the political culture, political history of France. And my point of departure was to ask students, so what about Hong Kong? What about the history of Hong Kong, in order to make a link between the two? And I have to admit, at that time, Hong Kong students, for example, were not interested so much in history, and not very much interested in politics. It was not their fault, it was a fact. Having said that, as I said before, there is a great change among the profile of the students in Hong Kong because of the change of context. For example, internationalization already at home, I mean, BU receiving a lot of international students. And then, of course, our students being sent to Europe, they came back with different perspectives. It took a while for Hong Kong students to understand the demands and requirements expected from them in the program. It was quite difficult. It took a while because what was being done in the German stream was different. It was much more oriented to business, which is not a tradition in French education and so on. I can say that through time, in the French stream, sorry to talk about the French stream, but after a while we took the decision to include, for example, French partners delivering business studies, which was not the case at the very beginning. And it was a great opportunity for them. So they could choose between two fields, social, political sciences, and business. We had I want to stress that all our achievements in the program were meant in a very collective way, in the sense we were, and I think you are now, a very strong team, not only within streams, but also between two streams. And this is a fantastic opportunity, which has a very, very important impact on what students can achieve at the same time. Well, I think I talk too much, but you know, French people and you know, teachers or French teachers, this combination is terrible. Okay, so maybe we can now pass the word to alumni, and I'm very excited to hear all of you.
Merci beaucoup, Beatrice. Thank you very much, Beatrice, for your sharing and your memories of the beginning of the program and how it has evolved. May I just jump here and share with our alumni the latest development in our European Studies program in two directions. The first direction is certainly the further development and integration of studies with internationalization, as the first French stream has introduced since 2018 two double degree programs with Sciences Po Bordeaux and Sciences Po Lyon. And this opportunity, I hope, in my capacity of the director of the European Studies program, to extend these opportunities to the German stream students in the near future. Another direction of development for the European Studies is certainly the job market and opportunities. And very much so in the past few years, we have at heart to develop connections, industry connections, company visits, career talks within the classroom and outside the classroom that has multiplied tremendously the number of job opportunities, internship prospects to our graduates and also our alumni and current students. So to speak, in the past few days, I have sent to the French stream students, because those were French stream, were French companies, a number of job announcements. So we are in the process of building a alumni association, and I think this serves the purpose. You know, alumni association, as we know in the French context, serves for you to build your network, to build your professional network and social network. So please stay tuned so that we can have you all in this alumni association. We can all share with you the job prospects and opportunities that we receive. I would love to have just one venue to advertise this instead of sending dozens of emails to each and every cohort. So please stay tuned for this. Now it is 7:30, so I'm really right on time, and I'm doing a great job with keeping up the time. But before we move to the alumni sharing, which is the best part of this evening, I'd like to say that we are actually there were 21 people online, and we are facing actually a big crowd in the room of close to 58 people. So we are close to actually 80 people altogether. So well done to all of you, ES alumni, and thank you so much for having shown in a greater number to come. And I hope you will enjoy this retrouvaille, or this get together, this reunion tonight. Now we can pass the floor to the alumni sharing, and we have a number of sharing. We will start with students who are, two students who are in Germany. So Doris Lee. Doris Lee, I think you are online. I see you. Doris.
Yes, hello everyone. Hello. Nice to see you. Yeah, so I don't know if you can you hear me well?
Perfectly, and we see your beautiful smile. I'm sorry, we are all wearing a mask. So
no problem at all. And so yeah, so hello first of all, and I'm glad to be here, and also a big hello to the alumni. I think I've seen, yeah, I don't know every one of you, but like some of you, I've seen your names. Like I know you. We've met each other before. So I was asked to share some of my experience after graduation. So maybe I should start with a self-introduction first. My name is Hang-shuen Lee, and some of you may know me by the name Doris, and I was a German stream student from 2009 to 2013. And I'm now working as a journalist at the German international broadcaster Deutsche Welle, or DW, and I'm also a hobby singer. So yeah, the question is like, how did I become a journalist? Did I plan all of this? And actually, I didn't plan anything at all. So to be honest, I had no plans at all about what I wanted to do, even at the point of graduation or even shortly after graduation. And I know some of you may know your career goals very well, and if you're one of them, so congratulations. And unfortunately, I wasn't one of those, but yeah, I just knew briefly that I wanted to work on something creative, and I knew that I wanted to stay in Germany. And so after I arrived in Germany, I tried out different things. For example, I started to work for a toy and mascot factory, and I made stuffed toys. For example, there was this there's this German candy brand which is called Haribo's, and then I even brushed the Haribo bears. So and then because I thought, why not? Because it was fun, and then I didn't really know what to do, so I think I should just try out different things. Yeah, and then I also tried to do an internship at a German local radio station because I thought I wanted to do something with media. And although my German wasn't good enough at that point to actually work for a radio station, I tried that because, again, I thought, why not? Like, if I have the chance, I think I should try that out. And of course, it didn't work out very, very well because my German wasn't good enough at that point. And then I thought, if I can't work in German, maybe I should try to work in Chinese. So I tried to contact Deutsche Welle's Chinese service, and then I asked them if I could do an internship there. And that's how I actually started my career as a journalist. So at first I wrote articles in Chinese, and then I tried to write in English. And then I also, at some point, also started to work for TV as well. And so I ended up becoming a broadcast journalist. And now I'm working for the English newsroom right now. So there I put reports together, and sometimes I also go into the studios and talk about, to do talks with the anchors when it's about topics, for example, on Hong Kong, on China, on Taiwan. So that's what I do. And in terms of singing, it has always been my passion, but I never really wanted to build a career out of that. It's just something that I really wanted to do. So after I arrived in Germany, I started to sing at weddings and at birthday parties because, again, I thought, why not? And yeah, and then at some point I thought maybe I should join a competition because I don't want to have any regrets. So in 2017, I participated in the German version of this TV singing competition, The Voice. And unfortunately, I didn't manage to get into the second round, but then I met a lot of interesting and really good musicians. And after this experience, I just really wanted to sing even more. So after that, I started a YouTube channel and started to post cover songs online. And right now, it's a lot of juggling between work and this hobby, but I think I'm quite happy with the way things are right now. And so I mentioned quite a few times, like, why not, the word, I mentioned it quite a few times here. And I think this is the mentality this program has taught me, because especially in the third year, when you're out in another country, you have exactly 1 year to explore the environment, and it's all in your hands. Like you are the one to decide what you want to get out of this year. So you got to make the best out of it and take every opportunity and try out different things. And so this is what I learned from the program. And I think it just doesn't matter if you don't really know what you want to do right now. As I've mentioned, maybe it's not very clear for some of you, like, okay, what's your future? Like, what should I do in the future? Maybe it's not clear at this point, but what I want to say is that it doesn't really matter, because what you do and what you've done will lead you to the right place. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you very much, Doris. Thank you for your very personal sharing. So I retained from your sharing that your career was a young career, actually was already very full, You had many twists and turns, and what I like in what you say is that we should not have any regrets. So please do try and jump into the water and try out, just like Doris did. And for those of you who have not heard Doris, you can actually watch her singing performance on YouTube, and we have enjoyed that recently. So now we can move on to the next sharing by Miss Zora Chan. Thank you, Doris. And we move to Zora Chan. Zora, who is also joining from Germany.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Good to see you.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well. Ivan is about to show your camera. So Zora, can you just speak so that we can more easily identify you?
Hold on. I think I took a prompt for microphones. No, I just changed the microphones. 1 second.
No, okay, that's okay, Zora. I think you will. Yes. Yes, Zora, can you speak? Yes. Hello, Zora.
Hello. I'm sorry. I got some problems with my microphones. Could you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you perfectly and we can see you very well.
Sorry, we just got stupid problems with the Bluetooth. I just queued them now. Yeah. Very, very happy to be here to see you guys. Yeah. I would just start sharing, telling you something about me and my life, okay? Or do we have, because I just heard the amazing story of Doris, so I don't know why you guys would like to ask questions first, or just shut about my lifetime story.
I think we could just move to your sharing now, Zora. We have more to get together later on.
Good, perfect. So hi everyone again, I'm Zora. I graduated from the German stream in 2003. So that was the time perhaps most of you were still babies in the cradles. But that's also the reason why I'm here today, to share a bit of my life stories, what happened in that 20 years after my graduations. And like looking back at the 4 years of BU, that was like the most important and also the most enjoyable time of my life. I mean, we all had that years of like crunching the language in 2 years, heading into a foreign place with just on your own, studying an internship, and then finished it on pro within a year. It is demanding. We have like very caring staff, caring professors, always pushing us to the boundaries, pushing us and challenging our comfort zones. And that was a memorable time in my life as well. Just to share something with you. And I did my internship in my 3rd year at a German radio station. And back then it was like year 2002. And I was the first Chinese intern they ever had. So it was so much fun, not just being special, but also more important to see, hey, how different worlds, different culture, and different personalities could be united together, and to see how little different we are indeed in sometimes. So this is just a fun story, a bit to the title of the event today, how we could unite it in among diversities. So what happened now from my graduation is there was the year where SARS hit Hong Kong very, very heavily. So as many of you might have the idea at the moment, right? How can I pursue career? How can I choose my job? And I took a kind of like strange move. I moved into the cultural aspect. I worked for an opera production for the Sino-German production, coordinating Chinese and German artists in Hong Kong, in China, and backstage for about a year as a German interpreter. And then I moved on to a trading company as merchandiser, taking care of German-speaking clients before I received a scholarship from a German foundation and went to Hamburg to pursue my master's studies. And my master's study was also in European studies, with a very policy focus. And very, very heavy policy analysis. So we analysis economic policies, social policies in a very in-depth way. And so, as you know, master programs in Germany took a bit longer. It took about 2 years to finish it. So after my master program, I was very eager to get my hands on in public administrations, in EU politics. So I first started at the Berlin government administration, supporting EU projects, local social policies, like immigrant integration policies, because I wrote my bachelor thesis on about the social integration of the Turks in Germany. So there was a topic very close to my heart, and I was so grateful that I could work on those areas. So after about half a year, to about 9 months, the Hong Kong government has set up a trade and economic office in Berlin. So I worked there for about half a year in the commerce and public policy sections, monitoring and analyzing economic and social developments of the 9 European countries. So there was the time where I used to write reports, press release, and monitor both what developments took place in those 9 countries. And by coincidence, after that job, I was recruited by the president of the Hertie School of Governance to be his personal assistant. So the Hertie School of Government is, I'm not sure whether you guys have heard about it. It's a kind of like pioneer public policy schools in Germany, both in the area of public policies as well as in private university. So it was a time like we started the company, or we started the university almost like a startup. So we have a very entrepreneurial spirit in the school, and the school was very focused on public policy and transatlantic relationships. And there was a time where I have no idea about university administration, and I'm just deadly interested in the topics the school want to deal with, how we could strengthen the EU, how we could strengthen the transatlantic relationship. So I just give it a try. And that's the time where I stayed on for 7.5 years, almost 8 years, until the retirement of my president. And it was a fantastic time. Although my tasks were mainly in administration, in university administration, my horizon just got hugely broadened, because the Hertie School is a place where you got ideas exchanged and discussed in a way I've never seen before. And I kept myself learning in those years, dug myself into topics which I'm interested in. So after that, almost a decade, 7.5 to 8 years, I decided to take a closer look in the dynamic startup ecosystem in Berlin, and join a company in Berlin with the mission to change the way how medical education could be conducted and could be revenualized, and how medical knowledge could be made accessible to everyone. And in that company, I worked closely with the CEO and the board in business strategy and operations, and the company secured a very, very important funding in that time, and has expanded tremendously since COVID hits the education system, but also the medical and public health education and public health systems. So I stayed at that company for about 2 years, almost 2 years, where I realized that, well, somewhat I reached the ceiling, the top of my development, and I decided to make another move. So now I work for a MBB consulting firm, heavily focused on company building. So I work closely with the managing director to set business strategies, but I also lead a team of executive assistants to guide them and develop them to be more strategic as business partner and to take up a strategic role in business operations. So that's so much of my story, and I'm stuck in like since a year in home office, as you see, since this workshop. And perhaps going back, because Terence asked me to share a bit of advice to you guys. I think 2 things I would like to share throughout these 2 decades, what I've learned as a graduate of the European Studies program is that it fits quite well to the topic of today's event. The first thing is to understand the things from a global perspective. May it be public policy, may it be education, may it be business, whatever environment you will find yourself engaged in. Don't forget the quintessence of our program is we learn to spot the gaps between things, and we learn to connect the dots between things. And always do it in a way of an interdisciplinary way and in a global way. And the second thing I want to emphasize is what are the cornerstones of my life through the GIS program is that we spend loads of time and energy learning foreign languages. Do we? Why are we doing that? It's not just to spend the 3rd year, not to crunch the test stuff, not to crunch the French test, not to be able to survive in the 3rd year, but we do not just learn we just do not learn and master a foreign language, but we learn to communicate through the language in a very effective way. And what I want to say is that effective communication is the key for whatever career development you want to pursue, because it's not about saying something in a different language in a distinctive way. It has more to do with listening. It has more to do with empathy. It has very, very much to do with self-reflection. And that's what I've learned as a graduate from the GIS program, because those 4 years is a time where I took a deep reflection in my life to figure out what the path I had might look like, what the path I had might not look like. So you might have different ideas in your head. You do not know which way to take, which path to take. But the qualities we learn from the program is to have a self-reflection. And don't, like Doris said, I just listen to the last 2 minutes what she was talking about. Like, don't be afraid of things that you might not know. The uncertainties we cleared out. The fog in front of you we cleared out someday, as long as you hold on to the principles we have learned in those 4 years. That's so much I want to talk about.
Thank you very much, Zora, for your very good advice. So the global perspective, connecting the dots, your intercultural agility. So those are competencies and qualities, you know, that are well beyond the academic content of our program, but those are skills that you are going to keep for the rest of your life. So those are important skills indeed. Thank you very much, Zora, for sharing your experience. So please do stay with us.
My pleasure. Yeah.
We now move to Lavinia. So now we move from Germany to France with Lavinia Lai, whom I had the pleasure to teach. Lavinia, I still remember you in my class, and you've been to Sciences Po Lille for exchange. So good evening. Bonsoir, Lavinia.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Hello, everyone. Let me start with a short introduction of myself. My name is Lavinia, and I'm a French stream graduate from 2019. Right now, I'm continuing my studies in France. I'm doing a master in MBA in Lille. So right after the graduation from European studies, I got the opportunity to do an internship in Italy. So I actually got this internship in Italy through BU with the international office. So I was working in the Hong Kong Trade Development Council Milan office for a month, which was actually a really good opportunity because as you may know, HKTDC is an organization from Hong Kong, but they have overseas offices. So I spent a month there in Milan. And afterwards, I decided to come back to France to continue my master education. And so for my first year of master degree, I did apply foreign language. But for my second year, I decided to change into an MBA because I think that obtaining the business skills would help me to complement my previous knowledge that I already got in European studies. In studying politics, I have the skill of like analyzing, but having the supplementary business competence would help me advance in my future career. And so right now I'm doing my master degree, and at the same time, I'm also working with a Hong Kong company, and they sell digital products in France. So for me, I'm actually executive for the customer service in the French market. So right now, I'm still continuing to use my language skills with my career and also my education. And I think that, like we have already mentioned, mastering a foreign language actually opens up a lot of opportunities for you in your career. Because actually I also got my internship that I'll be starting in 2 months, and it is a company in France, but they are trying to help companies to enter the Chinese-speaking market. So that's why they need talent who need to speak several languages in Asia, English and French, to help companies to enter a new market for them. So that's why I would agree that what I get out from ES mainly is the opportunity to master a foreign language and all the skills that I have. And so that is why I think I really enjoy my time over there. And honestly, my third year exchange in Lille really inspired me to come back to continue my studies. So yeah, honestly, I don't have much to share because I'm a young, recent graduate, so I don't have a lot of experiences yet. But if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to contact me.
Merci beaucoup, Lavinia. So I see that you have taken up the suggestion. We had a couple of conversations, and you wanted to continue in European studies and language training. And I told you, why not? Going back to the word of Doris, why not try out business? And now you are doing your MBA. So congratulations to you. Merci beaucoup, Lavinia. Now, as we are advancing in the evening and more people are joining, both on Zoom, we are now 24 people on Zoom, and more people are also coming in person. We are close to 70 now people in person. So that's turning to be a great event. So thank you very much, all alumni and students, for coming tonight. We are staying in, so we are moving to Taiwan maybe with Raymond Wong. Raymond, are you with us?
Hi.
Hello, Raymond. Good.
Yes, yeah, I'm in the quarantine, so I have a brief introduction to myself. So I'm a graduate of the year 2000. At the time, it was really early. The program is really at a stretch. So thank you for the program indeed. So I would like to introduce my career right now because I'm very interested in arts and culture. So I'm indeed pursue my career in arts management. During my year in France, I'm in the French stream. So when I was in France, so I studied in Besançon at the CLR Besançon. That time I spent a few months at the National Theatres of in French Comté. So where I actually start my career as actually as a technical crew, because it's easy to communicate with local people, and I really enjoy these few months as an intern. So when I returned to Hong Kong, I decided to continue my career in the arts and culture. So I work as the producer at the Hong Kong Arts Centre in Wan Chai right now, and I also changed to a different performing arts company. So I was working. I work for the City Contemporary Dance Company of Hong Kong. It is one of the major performing arts company for the contemporary dance. So the time when I left was the position was the managing director, where I actually organized and of course during my time as the management of the major company, I have to spend more efforts on building up international relations with different presenters, touring organizers, agents we call, and to attend the arts market. And of course, the knowledge that I learned from the courses is really important, especially on the cross-cultural experience in terms of learning and competency. And also I established relations with the different ETO office in Hong Kong for the touring of the company. And I have next move, so I will be the deputy, what they call is the deputy director of operations in the Kaohsiung Center for Performing Arts starting next month. So this is a very challenging position, as the another cross-cultural experience is to manage a what they call is a national theater, to run the venues and of course the marketings and the leasing of the premises and the activities as well. So this is how I move on after graduation. So any questions or if you're interested in the field of arts and cultures, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Raymond. So thank you so much, Raymond. So you see, we have media, communication, journalism, we have education sector, we have alumni who continue to study. We have Raymond just now sharing his very interesting, fulfilling career in the arts sector. So indeed, we are reunited in diversity. Virtually, European studies leads to everything. So that's the best choice for you. If you don't know yet what you want to do, which is normal at your age, European studies is always a safe bet. So we can now move to Martin Hall, who is joining us from Korea. So you see, after European studies, you can stay in Hong Kong, you can be in Europe, and you can be in Korea as well. Bonsoir, Martin.
Bonsoir, ça fait longtemps que je ne peux pas parler en français, mais je dois parler en français, sinon mon cher Agas va me tuer, je suis sûr. So sorry for my very poor French, because it has been really a long time to have and use it. So my name is Martin. So I graduated in European Studies in 2009. And then after that, I got my master's degree in Strasbourg, Sciences Po Strasbourg, for 1 year. And then after that, I worked in the EU office in Hong Kong for my internship. I was so lucky to get that, because actually I heard that I was the first Hong Kong intern at the office at the time. And then after the internship there in the EU office, I worked in the French consulate for 2 years, working in the Campus France, that maybe you know, all of you know it because of the very hateful interviews. Why do you want to go to France? How to get the visa and so on. And then after the 2 years, I worked in an office called EUAP, European Union Academic Program in Hong Kong under GIS for 6 years. I think that some of you may know about this unit. Its objective is to enhance the awareness of the EU in Hong Kong. So I worked there for 6 years. So in total, I worked in the field of European culture or European Union in Hong Kong for 10 years. I would like to say that is that European studies helped me to master the language, the French language. It gave me the chance to gain more knowledge and expand my network. But what I want to say is that, well, even though we get all these language skills and experience, this is only SS card for me. You need to find something that you like and that you are dreaming for, like the previous alumni saying. Some of them pursuing a career in art management or in the city level. So anyway, so you have to find something that you like and you are dreaming for, and then it will help you finding a fantastic journey in your career. And then 2.5 years ago, I quit the BU and then moved to Korea with my family. Well, many of you know the reason what is going on in Hong Kong. So I decided to move to Korea. And then I found a job in an office called Global Social Economy Forum, which is under the Seoul City government. So this is a unit under the Seoul City government to promote social economy, which you may understand it as a social enterprise. So I'm in charge of the membership relations and project planning with city governments and social economy networks in Asia and Anglophone Africa. And after 2 years, well, I decided to move on to do something else. And in February, I got a funding from the Korean government to launch a social enterprise in Korea in this year. So what I'm planning now is to grow Hong Kong vegetables that some of them you may know, like choy sam, gailan, dongguan, etc. in Korea, and then sell it to foreigners in Korea. And then during the whole process, I try to recruit foreigners in Korea, because it's very hard for us to get a job. Because in Korea, they try to always protect their job market. So all the jobs are reserved for Koreans. So what I want to do is to recruit more foreigners in Korea. So my last advice is Hong Kong is very small actually. There's always a bigger world outside, like all the other people in Germany or in Taiwan. So go outside and shine. So thank you very much.
Merci, Martin. So we miss you in Hong Kong. So Martin now going into, after 10 years with the EU-related office, Martin is now starting a farming business. So that's really great. So indeed, reunited in diversity. Thank you so much. Martin mentioned Campus France, my year 2 students. I see some of you here in the room. You are going to have a visit from Campus France telling you about all the horrendous formalities that you have to process in the coming weeks in order to go to France. So that will be next week, Wednesday. So now we can proceed further with Loki Fung. So Loki Fung, who is joining from Hong Kong.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for my messy background. It's the collection for my husband. I wish that I can be with you all in Hong Kong because I love to meet the new faces and the old faces. And I'm from the French stream. I graduated in 2012, so almost 10 years now. I'm in a very strange position because I study French, but then I have always been working in German companies. And so after graduate, I work in Aldi South as a corporate social responsibility assistant. And then I worked there for 4 years, and then I go to Zalando, and then I become the ethical trade manager. So basically, I'm always in this social responsibility sector, about like ethical trade, like human rights and supply chain. And afterwards, when I get pregnant and then I gave birth to my baby, then I quit my job, and then I'm a full-time mom, but I'm also studying to be a Montessori education teacher. So it's kind of like an early childhood education. And so, well, I cannot say as much as previous alumni, you guys are very experienced, but what I can tell is like, follow your passion, like in your heart, you know what you like most, and then just keep doing it. And then you will find the best way for yourself and your happiness. And I think, like, as many of you have already said, communication is our big strength. We know another foreign language, we have lived abroad, like we know how to be with people from different culture. I think this is a very good strength that we have. But nowadays, I think most important is the value that you hold. Like, I think this is what makes you special as well. For example, in Europe, you see many other Chinese students or people from Hong Kong. Why are they not getting, why are they not happy? Why are they not incorporating in the cultures? Maybe it's because they're not open to like differences. Like, how do you see diversity? Like, do you accept it or you against it? Like, or values in equality? Because like, just mentioned, like very bluntly, maybe you will experience like discrimination in other countries, or even we discriminate other people in Hong Kong as well. So what values do you hold? Like, what kind of beliefs do you have? And how do you see people, and how do you help, or do you just like ignore it? Like, I think this will make you very different, and it also is important for your life. Feel free to ask me if you have any questions.
Merci beaucoup, Loki. Thank you so much for your testimony. So you embody actually the Franco-German relations. It so happens that last night I was doing a paper on Franco-German relations. So this is a French film student working for many years in a German company. So thank you very much for this testimony. It is actually very nice to have all this diversity in our alumni and who actually shared tonight. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Terence Young, who has been very instrumental in gathering all these alumni. So thank you, Terence, for being the living archive and memory of our European Studies program. Thank you, Terence. A number of you were not able to join us tonight and to do a live sharing, and they were actually invited to record something. So we can watch those recording at a later stage. Now we have more sharing to come in. So we have also sharing of people in person. We have 2 more French stream students, Mr. CP Chan, who I can invite to come here. Yes, CP, you can come. And yes, hello CP, thank you.
Bonsoir, bonsoir tout le monde, CP. Wow, it was a surprise. I didn't know. Hi, hello everyone online. I'm a graduate from the year of SARS 2003, and I have always been in Hong Kong. And yes, I'm really proud of being myself as a student, as an alumni for European Studies. All right, so sorry. And I've always been in the sector of education. I'm a primary school teacher for many years. So let's say how long? It's like as long as some of my former students that I taught when they were in primary school, they are now my colleagues. And some of them got babies already. Yeah. And so in my school, so I was a French substitute teacher just by accident, by many coincidences. And I stayed in that school for almost 19 years now, for the same school. Yeah, hard to imagine. However, I was staying because I'm still staying because I could find I can find diversities in my school. There used to be 18 different nationalities of students in my school. Well, now it's much less because of, and then there was a French department, French team as well. And I was one of the teacher there. I'm one of the teacher there. And right now they're cutting from the government, they're cutting the French. So I'm teaching my last year of French student now. Yes. So for that, but we are all survivors. So during all these past almost 2 decades, I have helped create and develop many things in my school. We had a TV station. We have many study tours. I'm now in charge of the third language department in my school. So the kids, I mean, from 6 to 12 years old, they are learning Chinese, English, Cantonese, Mandarin as their major. They also have, every week they may have Chinese, Spanish, French, or Japanese. So we got all these native teachers teaching them, including myself as well. And so we organized a study tour. And I've also helped created a program in the last year called Final Year Project. It's kind of like like writing your memoir, but then they're in a more funny way. So it was a bit like horrible, right? What are they doing, the children? But actually it was really fun. So we just want them to make use of all the skills they have learned in the past, in the 6 years. So we went out to interviews. This year we asked them to interview their own parents, but in the previous year we went out and they even did online interview around the world as well on different topics. So I remember I went to Discovery Bay one year and we were talking about the green energy in Hong Kong, and there was a really nice French lady doing that. So yes, I wonder why I didn't take them to BU back. I was working in Salute for 2 years. That's why I know Terence well and missed the days in Salute. And Yu Zora and Ricky and many of them. And so I would say one more thing is that the year that you have or you are going to spend in Europe, either in France or in Germany, you are going to treasure that because that will change you. Because that changed me. I wouldn't be the same CP I'm here today if I didn't have that time in France. And I was in Paris, Sciences Po Paris, but I wasn't a good student though. But after all this year, I would say because of that year, part of me is still in Paris. And from now on, every time I go back to France, every time I go back to Paris, I know I could recollect part of me. And yes, I really wish to go back. I spent several summers. That's the benefit of a teacher. Several summer holidays in France, either in the South or in Paris to take my stage about education. So I guess even for those who are taking years right now, you are very lucky, and I wish I am you. I wish I could be you right now again, because I guess I couldn't totally enjoy the time when I was here because I didn't, as Madame Beatrice mentioned, used to that. And we didn't know, we were so ignorant about politics or history at that time. But it's what in France that when many French people, they were asking me, oh, how was the handover? That was 1997, right? And I was in France for the first year we adopt Euro, so 2002, 2001 and 2. And they asked me how was the handover in Hong Kong afterwards. And I was like silent. I couldn't say anything because I knew nothing. Then, so at that time, there was a time I was in France, start to know about my identity as a Hong Kongese. And so thanks to EES, and really happy to see all of you, and happy the team that have invited me. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, CP. So that's a very nice testimony of your CP. So you know, you just said on the recording that you were not a good student in front of potential students of yours who might be listening to you in the near future. So that would be very precious asset for them to keep. Thank you very much, CP, for this. And we have, I believe, one last testimony, but I don't see Ken. Ah, yes, Ken. I'm sorry. Yes, Ken, please come over on stage. So Ken Lai. Bonsoir, Ken. Yes.
Hello, everyone. I promise I'll keep it short. Last one. So my name is Ken. I graduated in 2015, right? Yeah, 2015. Yeah, sorry. Bad memory. And my third year was in Sciences Po Paris. So a little bit about like my parcours. After graduation, I went to the UK, like applied for the government scholarship, the HKSES, you might have heard of it. Yeah, go apply. They've got tons of money. It's your parents' money and, well, their money and our money. So apply. Went to the UK in London, UCL, and studied town planning, and came back and was actually in town planning. Went to work actually nearby in Festive Walk in a private consultancy as an assistant town planner. And then, yeah, and then like to reflect from time to time, like what worked for me, what doesn't work. I found that, okay, I like cities, but then there's so many aspects in the job that didn't convince me, that don't match my personal values. So I moved on and went on to, in 2018, went to work, started work at Business France. That's the trade commission of the French consulate, well, helping French companies to establish the business here in Hong Kong and China. And well, end of last year, I moved on again, now working at a Belgian software company. Can you imagine? Like as a sales. So right now I help our partners, basically resellers, to sell, well, our software. So, well, how does all that relate to European studies and all? Well, I guess, well, I can totally relate to the first sharing by Doris. Like, yeah, why not? And like even now, I'm planning my next move. You know, like being at my current company, well, it's kind of a safe haven while I plan my next move for, yeah, like we're in COVID, like because my industry is growing, but here I can plan my next move. Well, I guess, yeah, I said I will keep short. So yeah, really, why not? Like, cause talk to some current students and well, from years, they tend to think, okay, so I speak French, then, well, after graduation, I should work for a French company. I speak German, and then I should work for a German company. Yes and no. Well, it gives you an advantage, but it's not a must. Like, I think the biggest limit is here. Like, the biggest limit is how you limit yourself and think that you can only do certain stuff because you have certain stuff. Ask rather, what speaks to your heart, what makes you happy, what matches your value, and just go for it. Why not? Like some people ask me, so you did a master in town planning and now you quit town planning. Don't you find that a waste? Don't you find that you committed a mistake? Well, no, like it would be a waste, it would be a mistake, it would be a regret if I actually regret it without asking what I gained from it. Yeah, because I happen to know some people who think, okay, so, well, all the politics, political sciences, studies, the language, I don't use it now at my job. Well, would that be a waste of like 4 or 5 years learning the language? Well, depends on you. Well, if you don't get it to use it at the job, well, read a book, maybe. Read a book of Marcel Proust. So yeah, well, that's me. If you like to connect with me, yeah, ask Celine. We WhatsApp each other. I went to a place to dinner. Yeah, right. Thanks, everyone.
you. Vielen Dank. Merci beaucoup to Ken. Vielen Dank to Doris and Zora. Merci Lavinia, Raymond, Martin, Loki, and CP, et enfin Ken, for all your testimony.
I graduated in 2003. That was quite a while ago. Since that, I actually moved to the UK to help out with the family business. They're in this education business. So I was there to help out with a startup project to start up some education centers in Birmingham and in this place called Derby. Yes, and between this Lichfield. That's right. So yes, I was there to help with this startup project to set up education centers for asylum seekers. And so there was a management trainee position, let's say. And so what I was doing is to really from A to Z to go from looking out for premises and then buy furniture, dress up the place like a school, go recruit students, build a database, and then later I was there to act as an administrator to run the school with the teachers, of course. And that's one thing I remember very dearly was that the moment when I was acting as an interpreter to translate French to English, and there was Congolese French to English, because there were some Congolese Congolese asylum seekers who were there in the UK. And they wanted you to apply to the school, so they didn't speak English, of course, and then I was there to help out. So my French was in use very much, yes. And then thereafter, after the UK, I came back to Hong Kong. I was there for around half a year, and then I came back to Hong Kong, and then I was lucky enough to enter the French consulate. I was there to work as in so-called education officer for the EduFrance. EduFrance, it was called EduFrance then. Now it's called Campus France. So I was there to promote French higher education in the region, meaning in Hong Kong and in Macau. So I was traveling between Hong Kong and Macau, and sometimes to Paris for some training. And then, of course, my French was in good use. Yes, so I was a liaison between Campus France Paris and Hong Kong and different universities, high schools, and also when the representatives coming from France, they want to visit universities or visit high schools or international schools. So I was there to accompany them, to be the interpreter as well. So basically so-called kind of like an ambassador for France in the education field. Of course, there were also the education attaché who was there from the consulate to do more of that job. But then I was the person interviewing students for the student visa, for example. I was the one to see if the school was a valid school. If I found out that this school is a bit sketchy, then I would say no. Then the student might not get a student visa. Yeah, so things like that. And then later on, there was an opportunity to come back to HKBU, to work in the international office. So I picked up that position. So again, it was still related to international education. I was very glad. And so I was in charge of the Consul General in Residence program. It was new at the time, and I think now it's still going on, right? Yeah, the Consul General in Residence program, CGIR so-called. So I was coordinating different events. So we had I think three to four conferences or talks per year. So yes, I was in charge of that, and also international student recruitment. It was Hong Kong was starting to welcome international students to study in Hong Kong. So as a representative of HKBU, I went with my colleagues to Malaysia, to India, to Indonesia to promote Baptist U to them. Yes. And then, and then I also had an opportunity to work in France. Yes, I received a newsletter. There were a business school in Lille. Lille is in the northern part of France. The school is called IESEG, IESEG, E with an accent, accent aigu. There's a business school, iconic, actually, iconic business school that they were hiring someone for international relations officer. And I so happened to tick all the boxes. I had a phone interview. They flew me over for a face-to-face interview over a weekend, just Friday. I think I flew out Friday evening after my day job, and then arrived Saturday morning. Oh, hold on, it was still maybe there Friday afternoon, I think. And for Friday evening, I don't remember exactly. Yes, and then Saturday morning, I had the interview, had lunch, and then so I met with the dean, I met with the manager, the director, and then I came back on Sunday evening. I went to the office to work on Monday morning. So no one knew. My colleagues did not know that I went to France. I went to Paris for the interview. It was a bit secretive, but then yes, it was done. and then I got that position. I got that job, and I left for Lille for France, and I stayed there for 5 years. 4 years as the international recruitment officer, or so-called international relations officer. So there I was in charge of promoting our school, our French business school, running the summer courses. At the time it was called the Summer Academy. Summer course in France was something new because to French people, summer was sacred. They all wanted a 2 month break. No one wanted to work. Me, not being French, so it wasn't fine. It wasn't too bad. So it was fine for me. It wasn't fine, of course, after a while, after I realized, oh, people can actually take 2 weeks, two months away. Okay, I was the only one working, more or less. And then some other international faculty. Yes, they were not used to having 2 months break. So anyway, so I was running this summer academy, summer school, first in our Lille campus, and then later after the Paris campus was open, we moved the program there. And we were the first ones I was the first one to bring international students to the Paris campus. So our Paris campus is located right under the Grand Arche. Grand Arche is the so-called the new Triumphant Arch, Arc de Triomphe. It's in the La Défense business district, outside of Paris, in the western part of Paris. Yes, that's right. Yes, so our school was right below the Grand Arche, behind the stairs. So yes, I was the first one to bring in international students to study there. So my job was to run the program, and also to recruit students for the program. And thanks to that position, I got to travel to many different places in Europe and also around the world, in Asia and in the United States as well, North America, even South America. So yes, and then that position evolved slowly. That my directors decided to pull me out of that program and put me into a different position. So I was only recruiting international students. So I wasn't running the summer programs anymore. I was recruiting students for the bachelor's program and master's program. Then I was traveling a lot more. Almost every weekend I was on the plane to go to different international education fairs, to places like I never thought I would be, like Caracas in Venezuela, Quito in Ecuador, Mexico City, Mexico. South America, I never thought I would visit. But yes, the job brought me there, thanks to French. So French can open a lot of doors. Of course, if you could speak good English, very good. I mean, good enough. But if you know French, definitely be a good choice. Yes, why the school hired me? Because I spoke French, because English was okay. So they thought, nice profile. So yes. And then after France, 4 years in France as an employee, And then I decided to do a master's degree. I did it at the same school, actually. I quit the job and became a student, a full-time student of that school. And I did the international business master's degree, so MIB so-called. Before I came back to Hong Kong to join my family. And then I got married after I came back, and then my son is now 4.5, so it was all good. And then so then what was I doing after I came back to Hong Kong? I was working at the University of Hong Kong, also in the international office, doing things related to international education. So I did different positions at HKU. I was also a career officer, career manager for the full-time MBA students, and then I switched back and forth, like did different things at HKU, and then then I also started teaching French part-time to non-degree students. So those were students from different fields. Could be medicine, could be science, could be psychology, anyone, but French major. Who would come to the program to learn some French. I'm still doing that right now. And then last semester, I was also teaching actually degree students who were major in French. So I was doing that. It was through Zoom though, but it was fine. It was a good experience. And then, yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. Actually, I'm teaching French, and also teaching cooking. Yes. How did I start? Well, it was because when I first went to France as a student, it was my 3rd year at HKBU following the European Studies program. I was in Besançon. Besançon, that's in the eastern part of France, right next to Switzerland. Okay. There, I was living alone in a studio, and I had to cook. So, and in Hong Kong, I didn't have to because I was living with my parents, and it was never a problem, never a need to cook. And then after I moved to France to study for that year, I had to cook something, and I must admit that I'm a picky person. I prefer nice food, and then slowly I started to have this interest in cooking. And thanks to those cooking courses, classes that I was taking every week in the evening with my classmates that I met when I was studying in Besançon. We went to some kind of vocational training schools. So in the morning, they train students, like their own students. In the evening, they also open up the kitchen and the dining room for amateurs like us to go there to just learn one course, a dinner, and then a dessert. So there were 12 of us, 6 of us were doing this dinner course, and then 6 of us were doing dessert. So we could also consume it there. And everything was in French. So it was a great experience to learn French, practice French, learn things that, I don't know, how do you call a fork in French? What's a spatula in French? What's a pan in French? You know, things that you probably won't learn from a textbook. Yes, and you learn it from that experience. And the second semester, I actually did an internship at the same school with the same chef. I asked him if I could do an internship there. Okay, and it was exceptional. They never had that, and it was allowed. He accepted. So I did the internship. I did my presentation. It was all good. And then after all that, when I came back to Hong Kong, I did some casual cooking with friends and stuff. And then those 4 years spent in France, in Lille, I went to, again, some cooking classes. I was at the so-called L'Atelier des Chefs. L'Atelier des Chefs, I went to mostly those lunchtime courses, half an hour to cook, and then half an hour to eat it. So 1 hour break. So I was riding my bike quickly to the L'Atelier des Chefs, went there to cook, ate my lunch, and rushed back. Also, there was a free dessert, very nice. I rushed back to work. pick up a coffee. So yes, that was that's something I was doing once a week. Yes, and all that build up the interests of cooking, even French cooking, so-called. And after I came back to Hong Kong for good, now and recently I actually received a professional qualification in French cooking. So I follow this Disciple Escoffier program, Disciples Escoffier program. I am a graduate from that program, and now I'm professionally qualified to open a kitchen, open a restaurant in France. Yes, but whether I will do that or not, that I don't know yet. Okay, so at least I'm professionally qualified. And then with that qualification and then my experience in France, I started teaching in a town guest part-time. So-called this freelance position. So what I was teaching was to merge French culture, French language, and French cooking. So my program, I'm not promoting it, but just telling you, I'm not teaching that right now because I'm a bit busy. That I was we got France here. So basically, I was it's like a so-called culinary journey to France. So I was presenting Paris, the region around Paris, which is Île-de-France. And what is special about Île-de-France, Champion de Paris, for example, the white mushroom. Why is it called Champion de Paris? I was telling the students the history about it, how to take care of it, how to cook it, and then everything on site that was doing this, teaching also the students how to pronounce those words. So that's the tasting aspect, the cultural and the history, and yes, all that. So that's one class, and then it's a course, a program of five classes. So traveling from Île-de-France, Paris, and then we move on to Nord-Pas-de-Calais, which is the northern part of France. And then so that's where I used to live, Lille. And then down to the eastern part of France, Besançon, Bourgogne-Franche-Comté, I think it's called Bourgogne-Franche-Comté right now. And then down to Toulouse, Toulouse, the area, which is l'Occitanie. And then to the west, we have Normandy or Bretagne, that area. And then finally to the capital of French cuisine, which is Lyon. Okay, so I was teaching students using local ingredients, telling them why certain ingredients were called that name, how they're being used, and history and all that. Okay, yes. So that's my part-time teaching at Town Guest. Right. Very useful. I was very fortunate to be accepted by the program. At the time, I was a so-called non-JUPAS student. Actually, I did an IB. It was still very new to Hong Kong, IB, and then I so-called knocking the doors. I was asking Madame Dr. Cabolampa and Madame Saint-Denis if they will accept me, and then we had this interview. So not going through the JUPAS route, which most of you are more familiar with, which is DSE now. Is it still called JUPAS? I'm not even aware of it. So anyway, yes, the most memorable, I would say, was one event. I still remember. I was actually one of the student helpers at EDC under Mr. Terence Young's guidance. So I was at that event. There was an event where we invited the head of the European Commission in Hong Kong. I forgot his name, the gentleman. That's quite a while ago. So I was there helping out. I was there actually to pass mics around. And then at some point, of course, there's after the speech, there's a Q&A session. And then at one point, no one was asking any questions. So I decided, oh my God, this is not right. So I asked the question, I still remember that question, is whether or not the EU would be sponsoring, financing the EDC a little bit more, or the European Studies program a little bit more, provided they really want to expand, they stretch their arms around outside of Europe. Okay, so so I remember that question received a round of applause from the audience, and Mr. Head of EC Hong Kong thought for a while before he could answer. I think he answered very diplomatically, was basically a no, I think. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, that was quite memorable as a student. So yes, so do get involved more at the school level or departmental level activities. There are a lot of opportunities that you never imagine would happen. I also remember helping with moving offices. We used to be in this RL7, RL4, I don't remember. Yeah, the so-called 7 dwarfs of HKBU. We moved from there to David C. Lam building, and then now we're back. Actually, we're back here, pretty much the same place, but a lot higher. We were ground floor, and now we're on the 11th floor. So it's quite a change. Yes. Right. Sure. First thing is congratulations, well done. That's a good choice. Be it French stream or German stream. Okay, I think you've made a good choice to pick up this program. And why? Because, well, again, thanks to this program, thanks to the fact that I speak French, it opened a lot of other doors for my personal growth, for my career. I never thought I would travel to more than 35 countries, and I did. It wasn't just transit. I was actually there. I spent some time there, but mostly for work, actually. leisure, maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 of them or 10 of them. But yeah, so the 20 more were work-related. Yes. Yeah, northern, like South America and then Central America, I never thought I would ever go there. But because I went with other French schools representatives, so we went there to promote French higher education. Scandinavia, I never thought I would go there. I still remember being in, what was that, Stockholm. It was minus 22 degrees, yes, freezing. And I was in Oulu, that's in Finland. I didn't go to Helsinki. I was only in the airport. So it was in Oulu. People, even the Finns were asking me, why did you go there? It's like, so in the middle of nowhere, why would you go there? So yes, I went there. I went from hotel, airport, hotel, and then university to talk about the program I was promoting, and then reverse, and then university, hotel, and then airport. So I was there really just to visit the university. And I also did the same. I was in Turkey. I went to a place called Adana. That's in the southern part of Turkey. Same question, why were you there? But because there was an international school there. So we wanted the international, the students to graduate from that school to come to study in France. That's why I was there. So yes, the job brought me to very unusual places. So yes, work hard on your French. Learn about the EU, which keeps on evolving. So it's a very interesting topic. Yes. At the time, I think we were still talking about, there was no Brexit. I mean, UK was part of the EU, and then I think they were still talking about whether the pounds, they would drop pounds and then use euro or not. And then now they're not even there. So it's quite fun to keep following what's happening to the EU. So yes, European studies is very interesting. And European studies of HKBU is interesting. I know as a sister school, they also have European studies, but they don't really spend 1 year in France. They might spend, I don't know, a summer in France or 1 semester in France. It's not the same. It's not the same. 1 whole year in France, you will learn a lot. Your French will improve without knowing. Okay, I always tell my students that even if you don't want to talk to anyone because you're shy, you're not ready yet, you can still hear it Okay, you say, oh, I don't want to hear it. I cover my ears. I listen to my songs, my music from Hong Kong, whatever. Yes, Spotify. Okay, then you still see those words. It's all French. It's all French. You know, so you improve without knowing. So yes, and what I did actually now to the year 1, year 2 students, before you step on the plane to go to France, set some tasks. Okay, set some targets. I did. I think I finally achieved only 4 of them, unfortunately. What were they? Perfect my French, make some new friends, learn French cooking, go skiing. That's the one that it didn't happen, unfortunately. And also the 5th one. Yeah, maybe to work in France. Yes, I did an internship, so that was okay. Yes, so yeah, set some targets for you to achieve. Then your 1 year there will be a lot more fruitful. Okay. Also, oh yeah, the 5th one wasn't to work in France. It was to get the DALF, Diplôme approfondi de la langue française. So that's the highest qualification that you can, a benchmark, let's say, that you can get as a foreigner, as a French learning student. So we have, of course, you have the A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. This system wasn't even there when it didn't exist when I was a student. And then they only had this DELF and DALF. So I did a DALF. It's good for life. So right now, after 1 or 2 years learning French, go to Alliance Française, take that exam. Okay, it's good for life. Okay, if you want to one day study in France in French, you will need that. The DALF can waive your French entrance exam. So it proves that you can follow courses in French like you will do here during the year 4. Yes. So do that while you are there, because every day is French. If you come back to Hong Kong, you don't have time. You don't have time for that. So do that while you're there. Okay. I think we're running out of time. Oh my God. Yes. All right. So yes, that's the advice I'm giving you to all. Work hard. You have picked a good program. Work on your French. Be proactive. Ask questions. And yes, and yeah, and bon courage, bonne continuation. All right.
So reunited in diversity. We had to wait for our 25th anniversary to organize such a reunion. It is our first time, and we wanted to be the first of a very long series. So our ambition actually is to organize this type of alumni and students reunion once a year. Because we always need to listen to your story, your development, your new career projects, and the idea is that the current students will join this alumni association and networking so that the former cohort can mentor. So we are here for you to listen to your ideas, what you want from this alumni association, what you expect from this alumni association, what we can bring to you in terms of networking, job mentoring, opportunities, etc. So this is the first of an attempt. But thank you so much to all of you as well online to have joined us.